78. Across North America, Atlanta 83 and 63. In Boston 64 and 55. In Miami 87 and 79. Dallas, Texas 96 and 73. And Toronto, Canada 69 and 58. As you go to the weekend, tropical moisture continues to affect the northwest Bahamas. Then we have a weak frontal boundary that will move into the extreme northwest Bahamas sometime on Sunday, and that will move through the islands Monday through Tuesday, and that will then elevate our rain chances over the northwest Bahamas throughout the weekend into early next week. Temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s at daytime, at nighttime in the upper 70s. That pressure on further look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Godfrey. The foundation of anything is critically important to its success, and this is especially true of education. Here to provide more insight on the foundational years of children are Leja Burrows. She's Assistant Director with the Early Childhood Education Program with the Ministry of Education. We have Ellen Rhodriquez. She's also a Senior Education Officer. And Joann Miller-Neely. She's an Education Officer with the Early Childhood Education with the Ministry of Education. It's such a long name, I don't want to say it all. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
Thank you all for being here, and we're so happy that we're here talking about the children because we love the kids and the early childhood education. So Ms. Burrows, tell us, over the past few years there's been a great deal of focus on this universal pre-primary care education and its importance to children to reach their full potential. How are you helping children to reach this goal?
We are helping children to reach this goal by providing them with an opportunity for quality early childhood education. So you know, pre-primary education is the year or two before formal education. And so the government of the Bahamas is committed to ensuring that we achieve that universal pre-primary education. Now, you know, we are a signatory on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And so 4.2 is to ensure that all girls and boys receive access to an early childhood program that will prepare them for later learning. And we intend to reach that goal by 2030.
I love that. And you know, when we think about preschool or pre-primary education, you say, oh, the children, they just need to color and they just need to run outside and throw some rock and they just need to learn a little bit about, you know, being a child and your environment. But there's more to it than that. You know, you lay the foundation and children are like sponges. They'll suck it all up. Miss Miller-Neely, what are some things your section is focused on this school year?
Well, there are quite a number of things that we're focusing on, but I want to just point out two of the main things that we're doing. We're expanding the mentorship program for our teachers to make sure that they are novice teachers, basically, to make sure that they are prepared and that we're able to retain them. Because, of course, you know, retention of teachers is a serious matter, I mean, throughout the world. You have teachers not staying, and so we want to make sure that we offer the support that they need. Additionally, we found that many of our children come to us lacking social and language skills, and we want our parents and our community at large to be more aware. And so what we're doing is we are expanding, or we are moving toward more stakeholder engagement. Yes. How are we going to do that? We're going to go into the churches, go to parent-teachers meetings. We want to go to civic organizations in the community. We want them to help us to spread the word, you know, that parents should pay attention to the developmental milestones of their children. They should know, you know, my child should be able to use 3 to 5 word sentences by the time they're 3 years old. They should be able to throw a ball overhead by the time they're 3 years old. So we want parents to pay attention to this, and we want the community to help us to reach that, to get to our parents. And so that is just two of the things that we're doing and focusing on.
Very important point there. You know, as parents, we have to be involved in the lives of our children. We just can't pass them off to the teachers and expect the teachers to do it all. And I love how you mentioned about the milestones, because a lot of persons may not even know that. It's just all about when they can walk and then when they can start talking and when we can get these diapers off, right?
Exactly.
So there are other milestones that we should be paying attention to. Ms. Rhodriquez, how can parents prepare their children to engage in a formal institution as early as pre-K?
Well, preschool provides more of learning experiences for young children that will help them to develop holistically. And when we talk about developing holistically, I'm touching on what Neely was mentioning about the developmental milestones. We have the various developmental areas in child development that we want to focus on, such as the language development, the cognitive development, social, emotional development, spiritual development, as well as the physical development. But we do not encourage the throwing of the rocks, though.
Well, I don't either, but it just happens, right? It's like their instinct kicks in and they just want to climb and throw. But that's great. And so, do things like reading to your baby and, things you might think they're not understanding you, but is that one technique, I guess, that helps to prepare your child for pre-K?
Okay, sure. So what it is, we have a preschool curriculum. And the area of language development. There are many skills and concepts that we expose children to. For early, we call it the readiness for reading, as well as even exposing them to reading, because we know that based on what the brain research is saying, that is really the age where most of the learning takes place. And yes, so children, they can begin the process of reading at that age.
Yeah, and that's a time where they repeat everything you say eventually. Like my daughter, she's a year and a half now, and she goes to do something, and I tell her, no, don't grab that. And she looks at me, she said, no, don't grab that. Right? Yeah. So they're a sponge, and they're soaking it all up. Yeah. Ms. Burrows, she had mentioned earlier about the stakeholder sessions. Tell us a little bit about how those stakeholder engagement sessions went, and what did you learn?
Okay, so with the stakeholder engagement, it provides us with an opportunity not only to share information, but also to receive information from parents. And so what we do is we have a dialogue with parents. These are the kinds of ways in which you can prepare your child for school. What are some of the challenges you are facing, and how can we address those challenges to ensure that each child is ready to receive the early education.
What else do you want parents to know about early childhood education if they're watching this show this morning?
Well, we want parents to know that there are expectations for our children. And so what they should be doing, as you stated earlier, talking to their children, not just turning the tablet on and allowing the children to just go gung-ho on the tablet, but having conversations, reading to them as you walk in the street, talk to them about what they're seeing, okay, so that when they get into the classroom, they have experiences that they can share. And so involve them, play with them, okay? We don't want them to come to preschool thinking it's, writing on the 3 lines, my child have to be able to write. We want to make sure that what they're doing is developmentally appropriate.
Yes. And I love all of those recommendations and what you're saying. And I know the kids are already in school, but it's always a great reminder to hear it over and over again. Ms. Burrows, back to you again. Are there any new developments or, I guess, techniques for pre-K for students with special needs, special learning needs?
Yes. This is one of our areas of focus because we're finding an increasing number of children entering school who are displaying behaviors of concern. And so we actually launched a pilot program at Buttonwood Preschool last year where our speech and language pathologists and our school psychologists went into the school, worked along with the teacher to train the teacher in strategies for helping children who have behavioral challenges or language delay. Awesome. And so we want to extend that this year. We're doing it with 5 more schools so that teachers are equipped in the general education classroom to help children with special needs.
Yeah, because if you don't pick up on that, then they kind of get lost in the system, and people say, they don't like to learn, they can't focus, they're a bad student. But there can be some underlying issues there that can be solved, that can be rectified with early intervention. So I'm happy to hear that's happening. Ms. Rhodriquez, what are your hopes for the school year this year with regards to the pre-K program?
Well, as we are working on our curriculum, we encouraged through our child program, which was developed by the preschool officers, We want to see more of the children engage in the hands-on learning. We have a lot of work to do with our children. Seeing that these are really the children this school year who have been at home during the COVID. Perhaps some of them were the COVID babies. Yes. And so we are finding that they are coming in like with a lot of delays, but we are certain that with the program we have, where they would be able to engage in play-based learning, learning through the thematic approach, STEM-based learning, and all of the hands-on learning experiences, we would be able to get them on track to accomplish those basic readiness skills. So we are looking forward to an exciting school year.
That is fantastic, and I'm so excited because, as I mentioned earlier, I got young babies who are going to be entering the pre-K system soon. So just to hear that all of these wonderful changes are happening for the interest of the children, their development, working on the parents, and also not forgetting the special needs. It seems like this year is going to be a success for the pre-K, and we're putting out all the good energy out there. I mean, I appreciate all of you, all of the work you do, your staff, and the parents who support you, and all of the teachers in the schools as well. So thank you again for joining us this morning. I enjoyed this conversation, and we look forward to seeing you all again.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Attention customers, next Tuesday, a major hurricane will cause complete confusion and chaos throughout the entire Bahamas. Water, phone, and internet services will be in short supply. Definite data loss is expected to all local and Family Island businesses.
Disasters don't plan ahead, but you can. Be ready with push-to-talk service that keeps you connected with your workforce with a simple push of a button. Contact the experts today at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Island.
Meet Leno, your bridge to the future. Wealth planning, investments, corporate services, trust services, pension administration, fund administration, outsourced accounting, and payroll. When you think of financial solutions, think of Leno. Local or international, company or individual, Leno can help. Our team of skilled professionals has the experience and expertise needed for you to strive. Your goals are our goals and our priority. Leno will guide you to the right financial solution with the knowledge, resources, and support you need. Give us a call at 242-396-3225 or email us at info@lenobahamas.com to get started. Visit our website, www.lenobahamas.com, for more information today. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Here are three young people who stopped attending high school and got disengaged in their educational journey due to the pandemic. Today, they are proudly taking their walk all over the place because they took advantage of BTVI's Smart Start initiative. All high school students in New Providence and the Family Islands can participate in free hands-on learning to improve employability, learn basic literacy and numeracy skills, and earn a BTVI certificate in automotive mechanics, beauty and construction trades, or fashion in only 14 weeks for full-time participants or 24 weeks for part-time. Don't count yourself out. Do what they did and enroll today. Email smartstart@btvi.edu.ds or call 502-6300 so you can take your walk anywhere in life.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
The 17th Exuma Business Outlook is coming up Thursday, October 19th at Sandals Emerald Bay. Join us as we discuss the theme Forward, Upward, Onward Together in celebration of the nation's 50th anniversary of independence. Keynote speaker, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, will be joined by a diverse slate of speakers. Don't miss this valuable networking opportunity. Register now at tclevents.com.
Welcome back. Well, the first ever Agrarian Awards were held at Margaritaville Beach Resort earlier this month, and farmers from across the Bahamas were awarded over $50,000 in cash and prizes. Here to tell us more are the Executive Director of Agricultural Development Organization, Mr. Philip Smith, Head of Public Relations at the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources, and Chairperson of the Agrarian Awards, Kendea Smith, and last but not least, the Female Farmer of the Year winner, Miss Whitlyn Miller. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Morning.
This is a very interesting topic because this is close to home for me, having grown up with a family of farmers.
Really?
Yes, in the island. So I want to firstly find out from Mrs. Smith, what is the goal of the Agrarian Awards?
Well, to increase the profile of farmers as well as farming. You know, what we are seeing in the Bahamas is that most farmers are over 60 years old. So the young people are not excited about farming. I guess they see it as this, you know, being out in the sun and working hard. And then, you know, you do not have a lot of examples of very successful farmers who are doing very well, you know. And so I think that is very important, one, to just increase their profile, the farmer's profile, and then also to make farming more profitable, to see more people being successful at it, you know. So yes, I think that was the main idea or purpose, was to increase the profile of farmers as well as farming throughout the Bahamas.
Yeah, and that's a very good point too. My father's over the age of 60 and he's a farmer.
Interesting.
And his partner would have been in his 70s when he passed on.
Where are they in?
Yeah, in Grand Bahama.
Grand Bahama,
yes,
okay.
Yes. So Kendea, could you let us know how many people were honored at this event, with this being the inaugural year?
It was 8 categories. We had the Lifetime Achievement winner was Lady Di of Eleuthera, Diane Lady Di Thompson. Miss Miller is one of them, the Female Farmer of the Year. We had the Male Farmer of the Year, who is from Grand Bahama, Terrence Robbins III at Berkshire Farms. He won Male Farmer of the Year. We had Youth Male Farmer of the Year, who was Van Toy Bethune. Then we had our Youth Female Farmer of the Year, Prime Minister's Youth Female Farmer of the Year. That was Frederica Deems. Our Backyard Farmer of the Year was Latoya Hutchinson, and that was basically by popular vote on the Ministry of Agriculture's Facebook page. And then we had our Community Farmer of the Year, who was Huel Moss. So we tried to grab every single category that we can, from the young to the community. Oh, and how could I forget the School Farmer of the Year? School Farmer of the Year was H.O. Nash.
Okay.
So yes, we tried to grab every single category, from the schools to the communities to the young to the more mature, and the ones who are really doing a very good job. And I'm so pleased that Miss Miller was able to succeed in that category.
Yeah, and you know, to swing it over to Ms. Miller, just to talk about your experience being winning this prize as the Female Farmer of the Year. Like, what does that mean to you, and what went through your mind as you received that award and that recognition?
First, let me say that all the farmers were excellent choices who were in the finalists, and I was like, boy, this is going to be something, you know. And I was looking at it, and when she called first runner-up, and I was like, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. I was ecstatic. I said, thank you, Jesus. You know, because, you know, every farmer there need funds to take their farm to the next level or improve on it. And me especially, I really needed that, because the land that I was given, agriculture didn't know, but when the farmer died, somebody excavated basically 90% of property for curry. So they just keep dumping. So there's nothing to absorb the water. So anytime it rained, heavy rain, I was flooded twice this year. The first one in June killed all my summer crops, so I didn't plant anymore. And I'm still not planting now because I'm waiting for hurricane season over, because I don't want to take a chance of planting too much stuff.
Understood.
So I'm going back to my backyard farming where I started. So I'm going to plant a lot of stuff in my yard until I can really plant out on the farm. But it was exciting.
Wow.
And I think the committee, they did an excellent job. Like I told Kendea, it was an excellent programming. It was timing.
Wonderful.
It was smooth. I gave her one or two recommendations for next time. But besides that, I was no complaint. And I think more farmers will look forward to it. Because, and I taught in the high school.
Okay.
So I taught electronics for years, then I taught horticulture, but I concentrated on vegetable production. And you know, we need to find somehow to get more students or children involved. My experience was that many times they look at farming or practicum subject as remedial students. But whereas farming, agriculture, horticulture is art and science.
Right.
So you have to have that maths, that science, and everything down pat, because if you don't understand it, it's impossible for you to do certain things.
Right.
And another thing is that I think we need to get more Bahamians into it too, and in the teaching area, because majority of teachers are foreigners. One student say, why should I do farming? It don't look like it's nothing, because only you when I see is a Bahamian. So if we could, if they could see more Bahamians doing farming, it's good. And when I finished at Auburn University, I had to write a report because I got an in-service award. And in the report, I told them they need to start agriculture cadet.
Okay.
And I'm still waiting to see if they respond to that.
Okay.
Because the agriculture cadet, that's where you get it, more students involved. Not only that, farming is such a vast area. You could do fruit production, vegetable production, you could do arboriculture, all of these come under agriculture. So it's so many areas, because you see people pruning fruit trees or letting fruit trees grow so tall, you can't get the fruits, they drop on the ground.
Wow.
But all these trees can be tamed at a certain height, where you just need a 6 feet ladder to get on, because if you're 5, that's 11 feet. So you understand what I'm saying?
Like
so
you said, it's an art and a science.
Yeah, that's how you have to
exactly.
And then it's a technique for pruning, because if you don't prune those fruit trees properly, you will damage them. And then you need to know, let's say, for instance, a guava tree. When a guava tree goes dormant, you have to prune the guava tree, because the fruit comes on the new growth. So if you continue let it grow tall, 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 only that new growth that came out in that season, you'll get guava. So if you prune the tree, you'll get more branches, more fruit on the guava tree.
Wonderful.
So we need to look at it and let them know, listen, we need plant pathologists, they study disease, we need entomologists. It's more to that, you know? We need people with business degrees and agriculture to do all these different things, accounting and stuff, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when it comes down to the work that the Agricultural Development Organization does, Mr. Smith, what are some of those things that we would want the general public to know, to be aware of, for opportunities as well as for general information?
Okay, what I'm finding, so I was the executive director of Bahamas Feeding Network. We started it, so I've been in the feeding business for 17 years. And what motivated me to get into this Agricultural Development Organization was I thought, you know, there are some people who have been on the list for 10, 12, 15 years, you know, never came off and just don't look like they're ever going to come off this list of getting food on a weekly basis. So I wondered, what could I do to make this more sustainable rather than giving the man a fish and feeding him for a day, which is what our motto say, let's teach him to farm and feed him and his family for a lifetime. So came up with the Agricultural Development Organization. And what I'm finding is that as you approach potential donors, it's not as difficult. I find that people are more inclined to give when they know that people have this opportunity to help themselves.
Right.
So we have been having, it's been amazing. I am so encouraged. As everybody I ask, you know, seem to be coming on board.
Positive
so
responses.
just recently we've had Atlantis is on board. We're going to be doing a community farm on Paradise Island. We're going to do a farmer's market on Paradise Island. Going to do a community farm in Nassau. we're going to do a school. We're going to do Centerville Primary. We're going to do with Atlanta, so something there, and then they're going to do from farm to table.
Okay.
So their chefs are coming.
Yes.
We already met with the chefs at the school. They're coming and they're going to bring all the equipment. They're going to cook, and the kids will be involved. And
I love that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought that was a great idea.
Yes.
So
Excellent.
I was just came back from your hometown yesterday evening. I wish I knew. I would have I would have gone and met with your dad.
Yes.
But we are working with a school over there. There's a school. I can't remember the name, but it's a school for special kids. I met with them.
Probably the Beacon School.
You got it. Beacon School.
That's hometown.
Yeah.
I'm telling the
I met
truth.
with Beacon School, and their farm has not been in operation for 5 years. So they were so excited.
Wow.
So we're going to start a school there. We're going to give them whatever they need to get started over there. So we want to work with at least 20. We are working with about 26 schools. And like I say, the donors have been incredible. So we have Atlantis, we have TK Foundation, we have Templeton Foundation, Royal Bank.
Wow, and I can hear your passion behind this, Minister. But we have to wrap up the session, so I just want to get one more charge out there to the general public for us to know what can we expect in years to come. When will be the next awards ceremony as such?
Well, Brooke, I want to say that I have to thank ADO because I came up with this idea while the former Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Affairs led a delegation to Jamaica. And we saw so much. And as we were going through, I just had this idea. I said, why can't we appreciate our farmers more, especially during our 50th year of independence? Okay. So I just pulled him to the side. Mr. Smith was with us. And I said, I want to do something like this. I want to do something to appreciate our farmers. Because they're not appreciated, they're not held up to the standard that I see other Caribbean farmers are. And he just said, let's do it. And he was our title sponsor, and he, like you said, he partnered with a lot of sponsors to raise the cash money. The Ministry of Agriculture put on the event, but we partnered with ADO to raise the cash money, over $52,000. So for years to come, we want to continue this partnership. And I love everything that he's doing, and we're going to hope to collaborate with them more.
Wonderful.
And get farming going throughout the islands of the Bahamas.
Good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time here with us this morning. It was a wonderful conversation. Thank you for joining us on Bahamas at Sunrise. We will be right back.
Focal Holdings Limited is proud of its consistent growth and the financial success it continues to bring to many Bahamians who invest in the company. Focal is committed to ensuring optimal financial performance for its shareholders. Focal's leadership remains focused on superior customer service and operational excellence across all sectors. Focal.
Satisfying to own your own piece of paradise? The most important investment you can make in your life is real estate, and Fidelity has the solution for you. You could become the owner of a home or a lot on any of our beautiful islands. Come and talk to a loan officer and inquire about how you can fund your goals with a loan today. Because we know it means a lot to own a lot. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or visit any of our branches, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau, or 352-6676 for Freeport.
And welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're up dead early on another fantastic Friday, and we're at the mid-show. Thank you for sticking with us. My name is Mark Daniels.
And I'm Brooke Grant, stepping in for Gabrielle Gardner.
Thanks for sticking with us, everybody. We had a great first half of the show. I enjoyed my interview.
Yes.
Talking about the early pre-K education program and what they've been doing. It's really exciting, right? Because, like you say, the foundation is everything.
That's right.
Bend the tree while it's young.
The formative years.
Yeah.
After that, you're pretty much toast, eh?
Yeah. That's it, right?
Yeah.
After 7, it's all downhill.
Yeah, that's it.
Because your little one is almost ready for pre-K.
Yeah, my youngest, he's just a little over 1 now. My eldest, she's getting ready for grade school. So they're all in the preschool system right now in full effect.
Good. Well, it's good to get the kids out, get them socializing and get them learning because, they soon have to take care of us.
Yeah.
I tell my children all the time. They're like, Daddy, can you pick me up? Daddy, you can make me some hot chocolate. Daddy, you can do this. I said, I look forward to the day when you get to make something for me. So one day you will change my diaper, hopefully.
Oh my goodness.
One day you will spoon feed me. You can pick me up and you'll tuck me in the bed at night and kiss me on my forehead because once a man, twice a child, right?
What a time. And just talking about providing the nutritional value that you will need in your older years, talking with the agricultural team a little while ago, we're learning about all the opportunities that are available for Bahamian farmers, right? To have over $50,000 in cash and prizes awarded to you for being in the industry and sustaining yourself and your family.
It's a great time to be a farmer, and the Agrarian Awards are such a wonderful event. I was in attendance. Congratulations to all the nominees and winners. And if you missed it, then you missed Lady Di's speech, who's of course a legend. She won the Lifetime Achievement Award. If you ain't had a Lady Di pineapple, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but get yourself over to Luther and get some. We've got more coming up in our second half. We're going to be talking about the second annual Bahamas Dragon Boat Festival happening tomorrow.
And the Bahamas Crisis Center is here to tell us about their night of hope and healing. But before that, let's take a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Thank you, Brooke, and good morning, Bahamas. In your second look at weather, sunrise, first look at the tropics. And in the tropics, we have 2 tropical storms. We still have Felipe, and at 5 a.m. this morning, Felipe was located near latitude 18.5 degrees north, longitude 55.2 degrees west, some 520 miles east of the northern Leeward Islands, moving towards the southwest at 2 miles per hour. Winds are now sustained at 45 miles per hour with higher gusts. We expect some strengthening over the next day or two. And then we have Tropical Storm Rena, and at 5 a.m. this morning, rain would form yesterday evening. It's at latitude 18.9 degrees west, longitude 46.6 degrees west, some 1,000 miles to east of the northern Leeward Islands, moving towards the northwest at 5 miles per hour. Those winds sustained at 45 miles per hour with higher gusts. On the local scene, still have troughing across the northwest Bahamas, and we have some tropical moisture streaming southwest and northeast across the northwestern islands. And that's going to trick out pockets of showers and thunderstorms, mainly across Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini, some across the Berry Islands today. And we do expect high pressure to give us some pretty good weather over the central and southeastern islands, partly sunny, hot, and humid. In your marine forecast today, we have winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the northwest and central Bahamas, 15 knots, sea 3 to 5 feet over the southeastern islands. On Saturday, continues east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet in northwest and central Bahamas, easterly at 15 knots, sea 3 to 5 feet over the southeastern islands. Then on Sunday, those winds become northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. Those winds falling light and variable at times, but you also have some swells out there over the weekend up to about 6 feet. Your tides. You can expect a high tide at 12 minutes past 8 this morning. Your next low tide will be at 2:30 this afternoon. High gain tonight at 8:34. Sunset 6:58 this evening. Rise tomorrow at 7 a.m. UV index 8. Your water temperature 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And your moon phase, we're moving towards the full moon. Your weekend outlook, look like a pockets of showers and thunderstorms because of that troughing and the tropical moisture moves across northwest Bahamas. And then we have a frontal boundary that's moving across Grand Bahamas sometime on Sunday evening, moving across New Providence Monday through Tuesday. And so we're going to keep the clouds, the showers, and thunderstorms in the forecast through Wednesday of next week. The temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s to lower 90s daytime, at nighttime in the upper 70s. That Puerto Rican follow could weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Godfrey. It's that time of year again. The second annual Bahamas Dragon Boat Festival starts tomorrow at Goodman's Bay here in New Providence. And here to tell us more are the great team putting on this festival. We have with us Meri Gibson. She is the president of the International Breast Cancer Paddlers Commission. We have Franco Chong. He is the president of the Pan American Dragon Boat Federation. And Bernadette Byrne. She is the IDBF Grade 4 International Race Official. Good morning, all, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
Thank you all for being here. It's an exciting time of year. I was looking for the dragon boat, but they're all out on Goodman's Bay, so we got to see them tomorrow. So, Mr. Chong, let's start with you. What is dragon boating?
Well, dragon boating is it's a tradition, a Chinese tradition that dates back over 2,000 years, right? The story is that there's this poet that was close to the emperor in China, and he didn't like what was going on, corruption and so on, you know, so he drowned himself in the Milo River. So the villagers he was loved by all the villagers. So when he drowned, they went out with their boats and they used their paddles and they beat the water to keep the fish from taking his body. And they threw Chinese dumplings in, so the fish would eat the dumplings instead of the body. And that's how it started. And it's now over 2,000 years, and in China, it's a public holiday on the 5th day of the 5th month of the lunar calendar.
Wow. That's a very interesting story. And I love the fact that it's a holiday. So maybe in a couple of years now, we have 1,000 races. We could have a holiday here in the Bahamas for the Dragon Boat Festival. Ms. Gibson, has the festival grown in its second year?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. I'm astounded from when we started last year, you know, when I came over here to introduce the sport, that within 3 months they had their first festival, and now we're looking at 34 teams. This is such a great sport for anybody. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can be from 12 to 112. And it's, as we always say, my cohort in particular, exercise is medicine, along with a lot of laughter, of course.
And I was at the event last year, and it was a very festive event. Lots of families out there, lots of children. Goodman's Bay was looking so beautiful. It was all of the decorations and the boats and the people. It was a very love-filled atmosphere, if I can put it like that. People cheering each other on. So I'm looking forward to that again. And once again, laughter is one of the best medicines out there next to exercise. Ms. Byrne, tell us, what are some of the benefits of dragon boat racing?
Oh, I would say, apart from the healthy side of it, the fitness, it's the teamwork, the camaraderie, because, you know, your teammates become friends for life, because people tend to get involved and stay involved. And as Meri said, you know, it's from 12 to 112. I've got friends who are in their 80s and they're still racing. So it's teamwork. Everybody has to be paddling together in order for the boat to move fast. So that translates into any part of life, you know, especially in business. So that's why we have a lot of corporate teams, because they recognize that, you know, if you get people to work together in the boat, then you get them to work together in the corporate environment.
Team building exercises, I feel like every corporation and organization tries to find a way, creative way, an effective way to build their teams. And I think this is one of them. Yeah. This is probably why it's grown from 21 to 34, 35 teams. 35, yeah. And so it's very exciting, and we're so happy about it. Mr. Chong, what is the goal of this festival?
Well, the Chinese dragon boat, the Chinese dragon boating is a culture, it's cultural. So the Chinese community in the Bahamas brought Chinese dragon boating to the Bahamas. The goal is to integrate the Chinese culture into the Bahamian cultural landscape, and also introducing a new sport to the Bahamas. You guys are tourist-oriented. This could bring a lot of tourists to the Bahamas. Right now, we are looking in 2027 for a venue for the to the Pan American Club Crew Championships. So if the Bahamas is ready and willing, we could bring 15 to 2,000 paddlers to the Bahamas.
I like the
And that's a lot of hotel rooms, tourists, and usually when the paddlers come, they paddle, they have their fun 3-4 days, and they spend another couple of days or sometimes a week in the Bahamas. So that's a lot of tourism dollars.
And it's a lot to look forward to, and we look forward to continuing to see the festival grow, especially when we're out there tomorrow. Ms. Gibson, why is this festival such a good support for persons with breast cancer?
Oh, first of all, one of the big things for us is that when you're diagnosed, you lose control. You know, you're just in the hands of the doctors. So being able to join in the sport, you take back that control. You are the master of your destiny then. And the big thing that comes out of it for us as a cohort is the camaraderie. And I always say that on a good day, I might not like half of the team that I paddle with, but outside of that, because you have this one common aspect that brings you together, you actually like each other and you spend a lot of time together, and really great supportive friendships come out of that. We very rarely talk about cancer. It's not something we talk about. We talk about how we're going to win the next race.
Awesome. I love that. And it does seem competitive. There are smiles going around, but I've seen some mean mugging going on the sidelines. Tell us about some of the teams who've entered in this year's festival.
So for Buston Free is your local breast cancer team. What a great name. Actually, if I could tell you some of the names, they might be a little bit embarrassing, but we just play on the words, obviously. And so you've got a great mix here. Last year it was just pretty much open. This time around we've got them from youth, which is fantastic. I've got to say, in kids in sports is kids out of the courts. So to have a youth grade is really brilliant, and it helps them to push all the way through because they can still be paddling. And we've got our oldest paddler's 85, and she's incredibly competitive, trust me. So to see now where you're categorizing as opposed to just being all across the board is really brilliant. Senior A, Senior B, breast cancer, youth. It's exactly how the sport should grow.
Awesome. Sounds like a lot of excitement going to be happening tomorrow. The competition's going to be hot and fierce. And we do our things in the Bahamas our own special way. So also looking forward to that. You have international experience with this sport. Just give us some insight into how the sport is done worldwide, and how does that compare to what we're doing here this weekend?
We're still, I keep saying, my favorite phrase here is, this isn't the World Championships.
Right.
Our focus is fun.
Yes.
But it's fundamentally the exact same process. So the race schedule is built the exact same way as any other festival or any other championship is done. The rules are the same. But our focus is on fun.
Yes.
I always love events in this part of the world because you bring a very different aspect of fun than you do in other countries. So I always love coming down to the Caribbean for that very reason.
Awesome. And I'd like to argue and put forth that our waters are probably the most beautiful out there. And so we're in the top tier of places to have this festival. Mr. Chong, tell us about some of the other activities that are going to be happening this weekend.
There's a lot of cultural activities. You'll have the lion dance. There's be a lot of Chinese food being sold, right? As well as Bohemian food. So we really invite all the family to come in, to come down to Goodsman's Bay. And just it's a family get together. It's an excursion and witness a Chinese cultural event.
I love it.
And that is a sport that will be a sport in the Bahamas. We hope the sport will become an Olympic sport. The International Dragon Boat Federation is working towards that, and soon we hope to get Bohemians at first to the Pan American Championships, and then to the International Championships, and then to the Olympic Championships when we get there.
I love that, and we love our Olympics, so we can march it up and bring home a gold. Quickly before we wrap, what are the times for the events happening this weekend?
So 8 o'clock, I think, is everybody's on site. 9 o'clock is the first race. Byrne's got a really tight schedule. I think they're finishing at 5. So it's all through the day. That's on the Saturday. On the Sunday, around about midday, is the official opening, the dotting of the dragon's eyes, because they have to see where they're going. And then we will have also the breast cancer flower ceremony and so on. So it's going to be a full weekend, start to finish.
Awesome. We love it. So we can be there 8 o'clock sharp tomorrow. We can sleep out on the beach, so we're there Sunday early, ready for the kickoff. So we'd like to thank you all again for being here. The Bahamas Dragon Boat Festival, 2nd year. Looking forward to getting bigger and better, and for us to reach those Pan American Games, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you all for being here this morning.
Thank
Really
you so
enjoyed
much.
this conversation.
Thank you.
Next week.
Thank you.
See y'all at the Dragon Boat Festival. We'll be right back.
National Statistical Institute will be conducting the Quarterly Labor Force Survey. This household-based survey is designed to produce quarterly labor force estimates and deliver important information, including the number of persons employed and unemployed, employed persons classified by occupation, and more. If you're 15 or older, we encourage you to participate. For more information, visit bahamas.gov.bs/statistics.
The Euro device is very affordable. It allows you to increase your internet connectivity. You are able to do away with the buffering, say goodbye to the dead spots. It gives them a much more stable connection. Their customers are able to view their digital menus. The establishment is able to stream. It allows for everyone, the customers and the business operators, to have a much more robust and stable internet connectivity.
Hey Mom, can you look after Kaylee?
Sorry, I'll be out for a while dealing with my home and car insurance.
What? You know there's a newer way, right?
A new way?
Where have you been? Look, go to newerinsurance.com, log in, get your quote, buy your insurance, done. You can even use it to manage a claim.
Oh? By the way, it's not newer. It's N-U-A. Where's she been?
Do it anyway with NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers.
The 17th Exuma Business Outlook is coming up on Thursday, October 19th at Sandals Emerald Bay. Join us as we discuss the theme Forward, Upward, Onward Together, a bold vision for Exuma in celebration of the nation's 50th anniversary of independence. Keynote address by the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation. Speakers are Tracy Boucher, Gowan Bowe, Rob Coughlin, Dennis DeVoe, Tracy Cooper, Sarah Swanson, Brent Hurt, Lakeisha Anderson Roll, Sheandra Newton, Tony Seymour, Robert Deal, and Carrie Fountain. Don't miss this valuable networking opportunity. Register now at tclevents.com. That's Exuma Business Outlook, Thursday, October 19th.
Welcome back. We've been featuring a series on sexual violence interventions here on the show, and as sexual violence impacts the very fabric of us here in the Bahamian society, we must not forget the survivors. There needs to be a space for persons to share their experiences and find hope and healing. That's what the Night of Hope and Healing, scheduled for tonight, is all about. Here to talk with us about this event are Dr. Sandra Dean Patterson, psychologist and founder and director of the Bahamas Crisis Center, and Lynelle Clarke, guest speaker for A Night of Hope and Healing. Ladies, welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. Dr. Patterson, let's talk about the prevalence of the issue of sexual violence in the Bahamas, and what have the various reports said?
Oh, well, sexual violence is a horrendous problem in the Bahamas, and it's been a growing problem for years. I think it was 2007 that the United Nations recognized us as being among the top 10 countries with reported rape issues. Wow. You know, The world average was 15, and ours was over 100. And so we've had this problem for a long time. The most recent report by the Commissioner of Police recognized a 64% increase in reported rapes. Now, while this says, I think it says positive things about our police force in the sense that the victims do report it, and in many other countries, victims don't report it. So our figures may not be that great in terms of other countries, but we do have more, I think, regard for the police. And so I think a lot more people report it than in other countries. But it's very, well, you would see it with the newspaper reports. There's almost a daily report of some kind of incident. And you have to recognize that it happens to children, to boys, to girls, to women, and some men, but it's very rare with men. You know, the predominant victims are women. And it's been termed the world's global shame.
Wow.
And it's something, unfortunately, that victims sometimes internalize that shame in themselves and feel that they have done something, and they look at what they could have done, should have done, when it really doesn't have anything to do with what you could have done. You know, you just unfortunately were put in a situation where you met somebody who had determined to rape. And I think the thing to understand about rape is it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a behavior that a perpetrator, usually a man, chooses to do. And he tries to identify victims, whether they're children or somebody that he's in a relationship with. And very often the needs that the rape satisfies is not so much sexual, but the non-sexual needs in men have to be in control, to feel powerful, to feel adequate. And so it's a big problem, and it's a problem that we have to talk about. And we have to have persons who've experienced it or lived with it know that they live in a country that people care. You know, sometimes when you read the newspaper headlines, you don't get that sense that we are a country that people care about what has happened to you.
And to that point, can you tell us about the work that the Crisis Center has put in place to show that there is a level of care and that there is hope after these challenges have taken place?
The Crisis Center has been we celebrated 40 years last year.
Congratulations.
And so it provides a refuge, it provides a safe space for persons who would have been sexually assaulted or violated or beaten. And so persons can come there, and we have services, we have psychological first aid, we have counseling, we have group support, we have volunteers who would go to court with you when you have to go to court. We have a hotline that people can call, and people call with all kinds of issues at any time. It's a 24-hour hotline. And we now have a WhatsApp line so that Family Islanders are able to reach us.
And children, right? That's
and children. Children.
Easier way for them, a little bit more savvy as well. So I want to hear from Lynelle Clarke about why is it so important for you to share your story, and in sharing that, is it difficult to do so?
It's no longer difficult to share my story because I've already been healed from it. It's only when you're unable to speak about it is because you haven't dealt with it internally. And one of my purposes is to remove the shame from the victim, because the shame shouldn't be on the victim, it really should be on the perpetrator. And a lot of times women feel like they're the only one that are going through this because not enough victims or survivors are speaking up about it. When we talk about sexual assault, we conceal the woman's identity for her protection. However, that does a disservice to her as well. But because she's not putting a face to it, no one understands the story. And so the only story we hear is the story of the accused. And so because we only hear his story, we kind of go on what he is saying because the victim never has a voice. And so I am putting my face on it to let women who went through that know that you can overcome. And there's no shame on you. What the shame should be placed on the person that assaulted you. And so we have to shift this victim blaming and understand what's happening on the other side. And the only way we can do that is if women give themselves the space to heal, the space to understand that, yes, this happened to me. Because what's funny is that many victims feel as if they put it behind their minds and have forgotten about it, that's it. But they don't understand, because they're not dealing with it, that trauma, that assault is affecting their decision-making skills. And they don't understand some of the decisions that they are making is based on the trauma that they failed to deal with.
Wow.
And so that's one of the things I want to speak. I want people that went through sexual assault know that, first of all, there's no shame. I don't care what the situation or circumstance was, there is no shame in what happened to you. Someone assaulted you. I want you to know that you can use your voice. There are women that need other women to speak up so that they can have the power to report it. The more people that report their sexual assaults, the more the country will understand that this is a problem and there's something that has to be done. And it has to start in the schools.
Right.
We need to teach our young children how to interact with each other. We need to let our boys and our girls know that there are certain behaviors that are unacceptable. And so if we begin at that ground level, what's going to happen? It's going to create a society that respects each other. And so I believe that we should start at the ground.
What a beautiful intervention. And Dr. Patterson, I know tonight's event, I personally want to shift my calendar around to be there now after hearing the heart of Ms. Clarke just now. But let us know what we can look forward to seeing and experiencing at tonight's event.
Well, you look forward to hearing her story, which is a very powerful story, how she has escaped the prison that rape put her in for a number of years. And what people have to know is it doesn't only affect the person, the victim that it happens to, it affects your partner if you're in a relationship with a husband or a boyfriend. It affects your children. It affects how you relate in your job. It reflects the whole of you. And so it's important for persons to know that they can talk about it in a safe space tonight. And we hope as many people as possible will come and talk and join us and help us get the message out that there's no excuse for sexual assault.
Wonderful. Ms. Clarke, is there life after sexual abuse?
Definitely, definitely. I remember when the incident happened, I remember the Lord saying that I allowed you to walk through it because you have the ability to bear it and share it. And I didn't understand it then. I did not understand it then, but now I understand what he was saying. What he is saying is I would be able to use that story for his glory. And in using that story, I am now helping women to understand that, listen, I am still in my right mind even after the incident. I am still progressing. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an employee. There is so much more that you can do. That's not the end. That's not the end. And God can use your story for his glory.
Wow. Dr. Patterson, please let us know the time and the venue for tonight's event.
Okay, the venue is just up down the road, actually,
right.
at the Whitney Pinder building, and it's from 6 to 8. So we hope people will come out and show their support for persons who've been violated, who've been attacked, who've been hurt. Please come. Thank you.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us on Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
The 17th Exuma Business Outlook is coming up on Thursday, October 19th at Sandals Emerald Bay. Join us as we discuss the theme Forward, Upward, Onward Together, a bold vision for Exuma in celebration of the nation's 50th anniversary of independence. Keynote address by the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation. Speakers are Tracy Boucher, Gowan Bowe, Rob Coughlin, Dennis DeVoe, Tracy Cooper, Sarah Swanson, Brent Hurt, Lakeisha Anderson Rowe, Sheandra Newton, Tony Seymour, Robert Deal, and Carrie Fountain. Don't miss this valuable networking opportunity. Register now at tclevents.com. That's Exuma Business Outlook, Thursday, October 19th.
And that's going to do it for us here today on Bahamas at Sunrise. Thank you for joining us dead early on another fantastic Friday. We look forward to seeing you again on Monday and have a great weekend, right, bro?
Yep, that's all, folks. Have a great day.
See you on Monday. If you want to shake your leg tonight, go to Holy Trinity. They have an old school dance going on. Godfrey, Burnside can be there. Go run up on Godfrey and y'all take your platforms and your afros and your bell-bottom pants and go to Holy Trinity in Stapleton Garden. 7 o'clock. Go enjoy yourself. See y'all on Monday.